But to me, it's smart, and I still feel that way. And I actually take issue when I'm out with a man
And he doesn't have cash.
and he doesn't have cash.
Yeah.
And I don't mean, and I don't need a knot. I don't need a wad. It's just, to me, after hearing, the argument behind why you should, it made so much sense to me. Like, if you've ever had your car towed on South Beach, Tremont Towing, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
If it's when you're getting out of a club, guess what they don't take, everybody? Checks, credit cards, any of it. It is cash only when you get to that window at 3:30 in the morning. Cash. Like, it's crazy. So again, you just never know when you're going to need it. And that's disheartening that they would, be getting away from it, because I do feel like cash will always be king. Again, when you're in a recession, or, if you talk to people, gold bars, gold jewelry, whether you're, I know that's big in the Indian community and culture. That's what you gift people that are getting married. You gift them that every year on their birthday. It's either a gold coin or a gold bracelet or any of those things. That's kind of still along the lines of like, but it's because it's always going to hold its value.
To take in the point thing, it's ridiculous. And they're one of the points you brought up about it was that the retailers are passing it on to the consumers. So therefore the consumers are paying more because of the credit cards. Well, yeah. Why don't you tell the credit cards they can only make 11? Why don't you tell the credit cards they can't, charge 24%?
You're talking about the interest?
Yeah. Why don't you put a cap on what the credit card company could charge? If you're worried about you can't be worried about the consumer paying more at the register, 3% more at the register. It's just factored into the bill, and not care that they're paying 24.99% interest, which is the 1/10 of a point below the maximum. It just doesn't make a good argument.
When you shop at places like Best Buy or even at Amazon.com, and they give you those options, right? 6-month payment plan, blah, blah, blah. Again, they give you the 6 months to pay it off in full. If you're not paying attention to your bill, if you have other things on your bill and you think, oh, you're paying them, you're paying your minimum, and you haven't specified that you want all of your payment to go towards that one item that you bought that you gave yourself 6 months on.
It's a game.
Again, you end up getting hit with the accrued interest across the board. But what's crazy, though? Not only do we not know that this, again, legislation is on the floor, but so many Americans have no idea what you just talked about even means. Like, so many Americans, if you ask them right now what their highest credit card rate is, they probably couldn't even tell you. They probably couldn't even tell you what they're being charged in interest on their credit cards.
Read the 27 pages of fine print that are on.
My mom is wild. Like, my mother, and I don't know what, but she'll be like, these moms want to... They tried to raise it to 29, or when you miss a payment, like, there's a reason why you never want to miss a payment.
Yeah.
And it's because a lot of times in that fine print, like it says, your rate goes from being, if you got locked in, or they gave you an introductory rate of, say, 14%. Say you were lucky at that. You miss one payment, you're now up to whatever like you said, whatever it is plus XYZ.
My favorite is the 0%, because the 0% works. Like, we're going to give you 0% for 12 months. So you're like, damn, I'm not paying anything for this. If you can put $100,000 on it. If you have $1 left after that 12 months, out of that,
accrued interest,
they charge you the interest for all the money for the whole year.
Yep. Here's the thing. If you know how to game the system the way they're trying to game you, you really can come up.
Yeah.
But of course, we're not necessarily educating the everyday consumer.
People game the system.
What?
In order to game the system, you have to have the ability to pay for what you're buying on credit.
For sure.
That's the only way you can game the system.
Even just understanding how it works, understanding the basics, like if you miss a payment, that interest rate jumps up to 29%. And have fun trying to get it back down, even after you've made 10 years worth of on-time payments.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, the system is rigged against the consumer in so many ways. And yet,
But that's what makes me laugh, that they're using the consumers paying an extra 3% for their tacos as grounds to pass this. They're using the consumer paying an extra 3%. They don't give two about the consumer.
Yeah, but I think that you would probably like this as a merchant, because I know you do online business, and that basically they're saying that every merchant should be given the choice of 2 different networks to process credit card transactions, so you don't just have one. I don't know if
I've never been forced to use one specific.
Oh, okay, because it says currently
there's 50 available.
Credit cards bearing a Visa logo are only processed through Visa network, while transactions on cards backed by MasterCard are only routed through MasterCard's network.
But that's at the card level. Nobody really in retail, nobody really goes right to the card anymore. You don't have 12 different contracts with 12 different credit card companies. You have one contract with a processor, and the processor has the contracts with Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, PayPal, all the whatever else is out there. Don't get me wrong. Every small business owner has, if they're smart, has used credit cards to their advantage. Because you get a credit card for $20,000 at 0% interest, you get it. 11 months later, you apply for another one on 0% interest, you roll it over. So there's a lot of to get your advantage, but that's really very few people do that. What people do is they go and I don't have the money, I'll just use this. I don't have the money and I'll just use this. It's the same as the early paycheck. Go get your money before your paycheck comes. You get buried. They get buried. You never get out of.
And they're predatory. Again, we've had the conversation on this show, I think, on the podcast about tipping in 2023 and how like now everybody wants a tip. Like even at the self-service gas station, like there's a tip. You're like, who am I tipping? Myself? I don't understand what's going on right now. You know, like you walk into a Starbucks and it's like it's an automatic thing. And now don't get me wrong, we all, I think, tip our baristas, or a lot of us do. But some people are like, I'm in here every day. Like I might give you $10 at the beginning of the week. But you know me, I'm not tip you again. I don't know. It's just crazy. But this is the same thing with credit cards. Now we're turning around, and if you're not paying attention to your bill, the next thing you know, you get home and you look, and there's an extra, you had a $300 meal, and you're paying an additional 3% on top of that to take care of that business's credit card fee. I think that there definitely should be legislation in place to protect consumers from things like that. But that's not what they're trying to do. Like, once again, the everyday American is sitting here being used as a pawn in big businesses' game, and we're the ones that really stand to lose.